So when you think of America, you probably immediately think of wealth, right? I mean, it's the richest country in the world, a place practically defined by boundless opportunity, massive salaries, and highly advanced economic systems. Because of all that, there's this very common assumption floating around. Most Americans must be rich, but beneath the shiny surface, there's a dark, almost hidden reality that genuinely surprises a lot of people. A massive number of Americans are not financially rich at all. In fact, millions are literally drowning, even those bringing in incredibly high incomes.
Okay, let's dive into this. There's this universally held assumption that we really need to shatter right off the bat. Simply living in a country with abundant opportunity does not inherently make you wealthy. Every day we see people making six figures, yet they are incredibly stressed out, leveraged to the absolute limit, and living right on the financial edge. The math just doesn't seem to add up, does it? But, as we're going to see today, the real problem isn't actually about the math at all. The problem is deeply rooted in our psychology.
High income does not mean high wealth. Let that sink in for a second. We look around and we see people driving brand new cars, living in massive houses, buying incredibly expensive things, and society immediately tells us, hey, those people are wealthy. But the reality? Behind those closed doors, millions of these same people are living completely paycheck to paycheck, with little to absolutely no savings to their name. This exact confusion, blurring the lines between what we earn and what we actually keep, is precisely where most people get hopelessly trapped.
Section 1. The Trap of Lifestyle Inflation. To really figure out how people stay broke while making so much money, we have to pull our focus away from the numbers on a paycheck and look directly at behavioral psychology. Meet the silent wealth killer, lifestyle inflation. It's a remarkably simple yet totally devastating rule. As your income increases, your spending increases right along with it. Earning more money usually just acts as a psychological permission slip to upgrade your life. You know, you get a raise, and suddenly you justify a slightly better car, a bigger house, a few more monthly subscriptions, and a lifestyle heavily padded by credit.
And this brilliantly illustrates the vicious cycle step by step. Step 1. You work hard, and you finally get that raise. Step 2. You immediately upgrade your lifestyle to match that new income. Step 3. Sure, you're earning more, but you are also spending more, which inevitably leads to step 4, you stay stuck. At the end of the month, despite that higher pay, absolutely nothing has actually changed for you financially. You're still at the exact same financial level you were years ago, just with shinier things.
Section 2. The Psychology of Instant Gratification.
So why is it so incredibly hard to just keep our spending flat when our income goes up? Well, it goes way deeper than just wanting nice stuff. We have to look at our underlying brain chemistry and the intense societal pressures that fuel all this impulsive consumption. We are living in a world completely built around instant satisfaction. Just look at the modern tools of consumption. Buy now, pay later programs, one-click purchases right on your phone, next day or even same-day delivery, easy instant credit approvals. Modern life intentionally, meticulously trains your brain to avoid patience altogether. We're actively being conditioned to favor immediate pleasure over waiting, planning, or saving.
And right here is where the dark psychology really takes hold. From a neurological standpoint, your brain actually releases a hit of dopamine whenever you buy something new. It feels good, it feels rewarding. But over time, that feeling becomes highly addictive. Without you even noticing it, your spending slowly shifts from being logical, buying things you actually need, to becoming entirely emotional. You start buying things just to feel that temporary high. And honestly, this emotional spending is one of the single strongest reasons people remain financially weak. This brings us to a somewhat hidden, yet incredibly powerful factor: consumer pressure and comparison. We really have to contrast logical spending, buying what you actually need to survive, against the deeply emotional and wildly expensive habit of spending for image. We're constantly comparing ourselves, right? If friends or neighbors buy a luxury car, we feel the pressure to match it. If social media influencers show off this lavish lifestyle, our normal, perfectly fine life suddenly starts feeling like it's not enough. We stop spending based on need and start spending to maintain an image. And let me tell you, maintaining an image is endlessly expensive.
Section 3. The Culture of Normalized Debt.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it begs the question, how do people afford this constant, relentless consumption? The secret is they don't. It's funded by a system that has completely normalized owing money, deeply ingrained in this incredibly dangerous illusion. If I can buy it, I can afford it. In the US and many other places, credit is so deeply integrated into daily life that people no longer spend money they actually have. They spend money they don't have yet. Because the little piece of plastic approves the transaction, they mentally trick themselves into believing they can truly afford the lifestyle.
But here is the cold, hard reality. It is debt. And debt comes with interest. Over time, those seemingly small, harmless purchases compound into massive, crushing financial burdens. This is the exact mechanism of how people slowly, almost invisibly, fall into long-term debt without even realizing it until it's entirely too late.
Let's move to and see how this builds upon a massive area where society has completely failed us: education. Most people enter adulthood with zero real financial intelligence. Schools teach us biology and history, sure, but they completely ignore the fundamental mechanics of money. We're never taught how interest actually works against us. We aren't shown how fast debt grows, how taxes eat into our real income, how credit scores literally run our lives, or, crucially, how long-term investing builds true wealth. We step into the workforce with a salary, but without any armor to actually protect it. Because of this severe lack of education, debt is no longer seen as a problem. It's seen as completely normal. Society normalizes huge car loans, rolling credit card balances, and massive mortgages. And to be clear, the issue isn't the act of borrowing itself, it's the total, absolute dependence on it. When monthly payments become your actual lifestyle, financial freedom becomes mathematically impossible. True wealth building requires the exact opposite tools: acquiring assets, mastering delayed gratification, and committing to long-term investing.
Section 4. The mindset of true wealth.
Now, I know this picture looks a bit dark, but it is absolutely not hopeless. Despite all of these built-in traps, some people do navigate the system and become genuinely wealthy. So let's pivot to the solution and that specific mindset shift required to escape this financial matrix. This right here is perhaps the most important realization of this entire explainer. The difference between those who stay broke and those who build real wealth is not always income. It is behavior. Money itself, it's completely neutral. It's just a tool. It's your psychology, your discipline, and your habits that ultimately dictate your financial fate.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly what wealthy-minded people do differently, and it really comes down to a foundational set of habits. They ruthlessly control their spending. They prioritize investing their money way before they ever spend it. They practice delayed gratification, actually waiting to buy things until they can truly afford them. They focus on buying assets that put money into their pocket rather than liabilities that drain it. And above all, they aggressively avoid lifestyle inflation. Over years and decades, these seemingly small daily decisions compound to create massive, life-changing differences.
People who chase that instant satisfaction, they'll almost always remain stuck, no matter how astronomically high their salary climbs. Because wealth isn't a number on your paycheck, it is a reflection of your mindset. So I want to leave you with this lingering, provocative question to think about. Are you managing what you make, or is it managing you? Take a really hard look at your habits. Recognize the psychological traps set up all around you, and start taking control of your financial destiny today.